Hello, you're watching Vnews Bulletin. From another headlines as usual. France calls for global approach and international solidarity against climate change. London ships 70 tons of durian to China. And later on, sham dance at Ponagar Temple Towers lose visitors. President Nguyễn Xuân Phúc on September 22nd met with outstanding children and teenagers of ethnic minority groups. Meeting more than 260 children who are in Hanoi for the 4th Ethnic Children's Festival, the state leader expressed his delight at the efforts made by the children to overcome difficulties during the prolonged pandemic to achieve high academic results and actively engage in activities organized by the Ho Chi Minh Vanguard Children's Union. Extending his warm sentiments to the children, the state leader said that the protection, care, and education of children, especially those from ethnic minority groups, remote, border, and island areas, have always been a priority for the party, state, and the whole society. He said he hopes the children will continue to promote national traditions and follow President Ho Chi Minh's teachings while learning knowledge and skills to create a firm foundation for their future and continuing to maintain the cultural identities of their ethnic groups. President Phúc asked ministries, sectors and localities to pay greater attention to creating more favorable conditions for the care and education of adolescents and children, while effectively implementing party policies and state laws regarding ethnic affairs and the socio-economic development of mountainous and ethnic minority inhabited areas. The leader also requested the Ho Chi Minh Communist Youth Union to organize educational activities to inspire children and satisfy their learning and entertainment needs. Prime Minister Phạm Minh Chính called for a global approach and international solidarity in response to climate change in his message to the informal leaders roundtable on climate change in New York, co-chaired by UN Secretary General Antonio Guterres and Egyptian President on September 22nd. The event was initiated by Guterres to unify awareness and promote strong political commitment to climate finance, greenhouse gas emission reduction, and energy transition in the lead-up to the 27th session of the Conference of the Parties to the UN Framework Convention on Climate Change (COP27) to be held in Sharm el-Sheikh in Egypt in November. Prime Minister Chính said, a developing nation rising from the ruins of wars, yet Vietnam has long been a responsible UN member and determined to fulfill its international commitments with the greatest endeavor. He then asked development partners to support Vietnam through technology transfer, financial incentives, personnel training, and active experience sharing in improving regulatory framework and governance. He also took the occasion to thank international partners, UN bodies, and the UN Secretary General for their cooperation with and support to Vietnam in climate change response, particularly accelerating the talks for the establishment of a just energy transition partnership. Prime Minister Phạm Minh Chính has assigned urgent tasks to particular ministries and agencies to deal with current economic difficulties in the new situation during a government law-building session on September 22nd.
The Prime Minister noted that the world economy is facing numerous difficulties due to a growth slowdown and soaring inflation. The move to hike interest rates in big economies have substantially affected other countries, including Vietnam. In the context, Prime Minister Chính asked all quarters to show strong performance in implementing the government's decree on maintaining macroeconomic stability, reining in inflation, promoting development, and ensuring major economic balances. He underlined the need to manage the monetary policy in a cautious and steady manner, ensuring its activeness, flexibility, and efficiency, along with an open, reasonable, and efficient fiscal policy. The Prime Minister requested the Ministry of Planning and Investment to keep a close watch on the situation to make timely policy responses. Meanwhile, the Ministries of Agriculture and Rural Development was asked to ensure absolute food security, speeding up agricultural restructuring, and promote exports of farm produce. The Ministries of Industry and Trade was urged to develop the domestic market and expand international markets, ensuring energy security and striving for trade surplus.
The Ministry of Foreign Affairs held regular press conference in Hanoi on September 22nd. More details in the following report. Vietnam's consistent policy is to protect and promote the basic rights of people, spokeswoman of the Foreign Ministry Lê Thị Thu Hằng told the press conference. Hằng made the statement in reply to reporters' queries on Vietnam's reaction to some international human rights organizations' controversial opinions about Vietnam's candidacy for the United Nations Human Rights Council, as they believe that the country's achievements in this field are poor and lack cooperation with the Council. Hằng said, "We completely reject the untruthful, unobjective contents with bad prejudices that some foreign organizations have raised about the situation in Vietnam." Vietnam's consistent policy of protecting and promoting human rights has been specified in 2013 Constitution and many other legal documents, the spokesperson stated, adding that the country's efforts and achievements in the work have been recognized and appreciated by the international community. The Vietnam Business Integrity Index, the first of its kind in the country to assess at the prices in this regard, was launched on September 21st.
The index is introduced by the Vietnam Chambers of Commerce and Industries and UNDP Vietnam. It has been designed for enterprises of all sizes, forms of ownership, sectors, and structures, regardless of whether they are a listed company, a domestic private company, a foreign investor firm, or a state-owned one. It was built with support from FABISH, a UNDP regional initiative funded by the British government within the framework of the ASEAN's Economic Reform Program, which aims to promote a fair business environment in ASEAN. Vietnam is one of the few countries with a higher position in the Corruption Perceptions Index released by Transparency International, jumping 26 places to 87th in 2021 from 113th in 2017. However, corruption still occurs in certain areas. The launch of the VBII is expected to have improved the situation.
Vietnam's textile and garment exports hit the $4 billion mark for the first time in August, according to the General Department of Vietnam Customs.
Earlier, the figure was always above $3 billion for 6 consecutive months from February. In the first 8 months of the year, the total earnings from the exports were over $26 billion, up some 24% against the same period last year. With the earnings, the sector became the second largest contributor to the country's export growth after machinery and equipment and tools and spare parts. In the period, the U.S. spent nearly $13 billion importing garment and textile products from Vietnam, increased by 22.6%. It was followed by the European Union with more than $3 billion, up 41%.
The Central Highlands province of Lâm Đồng exported its first 70 tons of durian to China on September 21st.
The shipment came following the signing of the protocol concerning the work between Vietnam and China over 2 months ago. With the protocol, durian growers and businesses are expected to gain higher profits from this fruit. Currently, Lâm Đồng has 1 production unit code, a PUC, and 2 packhouse codes, PHCs, recognized as eligible for export of fresh durian to the world's most populous country. In the coming time, 10 more PUCs are expected to be granted to local units and businesses. Lâm Đồng is growing durian on over 14,000 hectares, mainly in Da Hoai, Di Linh, Bảo Lâm, and Da Thach districts. Last week, the Central Highlands province of Đắk Lắk also exported its first batch of this fruit to China.
The flood season in the Mekong Delta has set in, helping farmers in upstream localities of Dong Thap province enjoy an abundant harvest of freshwater crops using bamboo nets. Every year, during the flood season, local people in the upstream districts of Hong Ngự and Tân Hồng in Dong Thap place bamboo nets in fields to catch freshwater crabs. From the crack of dawn to 2 p.m., local farmers can be busy in the fields collecting crabs.
On average, one person can make 2 bamboo nets a day, as it involves several steps. We can place bamboo nets to catch crabs all year round, both in fields and in rivers.
Catching freshwater crabs during the flood season has helped generate more earnings for local people. Nguyễn Văn Mỹ, who is in his 60s, has been catching crabs for more than 30 years. With 300 bamboo nets, he can catch 30 kilograms a day, earning nearly $17.
I often work from 5 a.m. to 3 p.m. and during the peak season, I can catch up to 30 kilograms of crabs a day.
Annually, from the 7th to 10th months of the lunar year, when the flood season arrives and water covers fields, local peoples in upstream areas of the province can start catching crabs, shrimp, and fish, helping to boost their earnings. The cultural and sports sector in the south central coastal province of Khánh Hòa has hosted cham dances at the rally complex at Ponagar Temple Towers in Nha Trang in recent years to attract more visitors to the beach city.
The troupe of artists who perform cham dances are from the Cham ethnic minority group in Mỹ Nghiệp Craft Village in Phước Dân Town, Ninh Phước District, Ninh Thuận Province, which borders Khánh Hòa to the south. Ponagar Temple Towers were built following the unique architecture of the Cham ethnic minority people and have existed for more than 1,200 years. The relic sites attracts tens of thousands of visitors each year.
The dances depict the daily life and labor of the Cham ethnic minority people. Some dances are quite difficult. We use 3 main musical instruments for the dances, which are the ghi nang drum, the paranang drum, and the sranai flute.
Through the dances, visitors can understand part of the unique cultures of the Cham ethnic minority people. Ponagar is currently the only place in Khánh Hòa province to host Cham dances every day. The activity is among attractions for tourists. According to the Relic Sites Preservation Center, after COVID-19, Ponagar has drawn 1,500 to 2,000 visitors each day.
Thể thao Văn hóa Sports and Culture newspaper announced 10 nominations for the 15th Bùi Xuân Phái Fall of Hanoi Awards on September 21st.
The nominations for the work prize are a trialing group photo book titled Hanoi, Hanoi by Minh Phạm and Pala Bunkongani, Hanoians Eating and Drinking Stories by Vũ Thế Long, and Kim Hoàng Phúc Painting by Nguyễn Thị Thu Hoài. 3 other nominations have been named for the job prize. They include a project on preserving a nearly 1,000 square meters old villa located on No 49 Trần Hưng Đạo Street. The Idea Prize also has 3 nominations, including a proposal to remove the fence at Thống Nhất Park to form a pedestrian area along Trần Nhân Tông Street, and a research project to turn the mud floods of the Red River into a cultural and tourist park. The only nominations for and also the winner of the grand prize is secret. The awards are organized annually by the Hanoi People's Committee and sponsored by Thể thao Văn hóa Daily and Bùi Xuân Phái Fund to honor painter Bùi Xuân Phái, 1920-1988, a founder of modern art in Vietnam.
And that's wrap up a news bulletin. Thanks for watching. As soon as time.